Hi everybody, my name is Jenny Watkins. I'm an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator and a 7 Steps to Flawless Communication trainer. And today I'd like to chat to you about 7 Steps. Now 7 Steps to Flawless Communication is based on a book written by Cass Thomas. And she introduced me to this material 2 years ago now. We were in a class together and she gave me her book and said, I've written this book, would you like to read it? And in fact, I got 12 copies. And this book kind of jumped into my awareness straight away. And I read it almost as soon as I got home. And I got the sense of, wow, the ease and simplicity of using these steps and applying these steps to communication was like a no-brainer. So I took the book to work and I asked my team there at the time, would you be interested in learning these steps? And they said yes. And we shared a step a week over a period of 7 to 8 weeks. And from that, I got hold of Cass and said, look, I think there's a class here. I think we can teach this. And there was various people around the world doing the same thing who had also read the book and said to Cass, we'd love to do this with children. We'd love to do this with families, etc., etc. So from there, some classes have been created. So I'd like to chat to you about the one-day class, which I can teach, and also the corporate class, which I can teach, which is a 2-day class for corporates. The reason why it's 2 days is the second day is an integration day where participants role play and they start using the steps in life situations because we'd like this material to actually continue after the class and not just be one of those things that you put back in your drawer and forget about it as you carry on with your day-to-day life. So for me personally, 7 Steps has really helped me improve the way I facilitate, the way I work with people, when I'm handling myself in meetings. In fact, it's got to a place where I don't have to handle myself in a meeting anymore. I can show up being present, authentic, transparent, with like minimal barriers or way less barriers than I used to have before. And I really love the work. So I'd really like to share this with everyone. And the target really, or if there is a target with 7 Steps, is to give people the tools to become present when they're communicating with people. So now, I don't know if you get a sense of how I shifted the energy in this conversation now of how I'm chatting to you via the video, is that I've started to push my barriers down. Now, the reason why I do that is because in the past, and it's still part of my auto-programming, is when I'm talking to people, I immediately put up these barriers because I'm kind of, I wonder if they're judging me. I wonder what they expect of me. And I'm like projecting my stuff onto them and wondering what I've got to project onto them and what my judgments of myself in that particular situation, what my end result should be of the conversation. There's so much dynamic and internal dialogue going on in my head that I'm creating all these like thick walls, imaginary walls obviously, but like all these energetic walls between myself and that person that I'm not really present with the conversation because I'm too much in my head. So what I do is I push the barriers down, and that gives me a sense of ease, sense of space. I'm more relaxed. I feel a little bit more peaceful, and I start to feel a bit more like myself. Now, the benefit of being yourself in a conversation is when you're not trying to fake it, or you're not trying to pretend that you're something else or someone else, or you're putting on some kind of mask or putting up some kind of veil that you're trying to hide behind. You're able to connect on a different level with that person. And when you're connecting with someone, that also allows them to drop their barriers and be more of themselves. Now, when you're not both engaged in the internal dialogue and all the stuff that's going on in your head, there's a magic that gets created in that conversation, and things that can show up that you would never have thought of before because you would have been so distracted by the internal dialogue that's going on. So that's the thing about being present, is to not be distracted by things that are going on around you. And although I can have a conversation with you, look out the window, notice my cat sitting here, my dog's just walked up to me, I can still be present with my conversation. However, if I'm engaged in thought, feelings, and emotions in my head, those things distract me from my conversation with you. And there's a lot of talk going on about being present, being authentic, being willing to show up in a conversation or in a situation or whatever. But there's very few tools that actually teach you how to do that. And definitely not tools that are like this easy to use, because I can just now, because I've practiced so much, ask for my barriers to go down, and I can step out from behind the veils and the masks, and I can connect with me, and I can expand out my energy, and I can get connected with everyone and everything around me. And now from that space, there's the magic. That's the difference that you can have in a conversation. And when you're in that space, and I'm not talking about spacey that you're like kind of not around. This is like being space and being everything that you're capable of being, and being connected to everyone and everything around you. Awesome, magical things can show up in conversations. Problem solving, conflict resolution, dealing with diversity between people, all kinds of different things. Having conversations with a teenager, having conversation with your partner, having conversation with a work colleague, even having a conversation with someone you've never met before is like, that could even be even more stilted because you don't know each other yet. But what if you could create this space and this environment for both of you that it's more relaxed and more authentic, and then you can have a genuine conversation and not a salesy type conversation. So I'm really excited about this work, because I would love to show people and be and invite people to a space where you can communicate and connect differently with everyone, because the fundamental of everything is relationship. We don't ever really look at the quality of our relationships in the sense of how are we communicating. We kind of just have this auto-response, autopilot way of communicating where we're off the cuff or something triggers us, or we even tap ourselves down because we don't want to express what we're really thinking or feeling or whatever. And there's no genuineness or honesty in those kind of interactions. And relationships umbrella everything. There's a relationship with money. There's a relationship with your partners. There's a relationship with your animals. There's a relationship with the earth around you. There's a relationship with work colleagues. There's a relationship with your boss, with your teams, whatever. Everything, your customers, your suppliers, people that you're interacting with in the shop. Everything is based on relationships. But we don't ever, because it's so fundamentally part of our day-to-day living, we don't really give it any thought about the quality of what that can be like. And if you can improve those relationships and those communications and those connections, so that wasn't really good English, but anyway, how could we change things? If we can get past all the judgments, if we can get past all the competition, if we can move beyond that, what can get created in all kinds of different scenarios if we're not functioning from that whole internal dialogue of who I'm supposed to be, what does this person expect from me, what do I expect from them, what's the outcome of this, oh, I wonder if I look okay, did I forgot to put lipstick on, you know what I mean? Those like kind of things, all those funny thoughts that come up while you're trying to have a conversation with someone. What if that is gone and you're there and you're present with that person and you can actually hear them, and you don't have to have that automatic response or that pre-planned response, that you can have a more authentic response. That words can flow out of your mouth that are not coming from the mind. They're going beyond the mind into a space that you've never been able to access before because you've been so engaged with the mind. So I'd like to invite you to this class. I personally have one coming up on Saturday, the 27th of January, here in Bryanston, Johannesburg. And if you go onto the 7Steps website, www.7steps.us, you'll be able to find out where Cass is holding her classes. And yeah, get in touch with us or get in touch with me. You can get hold of the book online. It is available on Amazon. It's available in ebook on Kindle. And I have hard copies here in South Africa too. And there are hard copies available around the world. You can just get hold of us via the website, or www.blinkglobal.co.za is my personal website, and my email address is jenny@blinkglobal.co.za. So I'd like to invite you to a different space with conversations and communication, and where you can be more authentic, more present, feel more like you, and you don't have to fake it till you make it, and then you can create beyond. what amazingness and what magic can show up for you. So thank you.